Hello again, how do? Got another story here for us to go through. Hopefully have a little bit of fun with this one. It's not quite as serious as the others, but it does, I think, show a bit of the degradation of our civilization in general. And also that there was that case of which led to the downfall of Nicola Sturgeon, of the, I believe, rapist who said he was a woman to try and avoid going into men's prison, and these people using excuses. And it's a recent case that's happened in the UK, um, to do with politicians. So I'll start as usual as well. Please do visit this site. I'll put the link below after in the description. Please visit the site, even if it's just for a split second, just so they get the traffic. I don't get sponsored for saying that. I'm not affiliated with any of these sites that I visit. This is purely just me saying it as a goodwill gesture to them. They do this work in writing these articles. The least we can do is give them a little bit of traffic to their site so they can get their ad revenue in return as a bit of a thank you for that. Right, anyway, so let's crack on. Aspiring MP who unsuccessfully stood as a male Tory candidate campaigns again as a proud lesbian Green Party hopeful. For those who don't know, Tories is Conservatives. Greens, in my opinion, are watermelons. Green on the outside, red on the inside. They are just communists in new clothes. As Conservative politician is forced to apologise for calling rival just a man who wears a wig. Melissa Poulton described the comments as transphobic and dog whistling. Well, what I say about dog whistles is only dogs can hear them. So if you're saying to other people that it's a dog whistle, you're the one who's hearing the dog whistle, I'm afraid. It says more about you than it does about the other people. An aspiring MP who stood for the Conservatives as a man but is now fighting for a Westminster seat as a Green woman has accused the Tory deputy leader of gaslighting and transphobia after she tweeted her local rival is a man who wears a wig and calls himself a proud lesbian. Well, after seeing the picture of this individual, if I remember, I'll put a picture of him in the thumbnail. He does look like a man in a wig because he is a man in a wig. Funnily enough, like if I put a wig on now, I'd look like a man in a wig. I mean, it's like if you put a wig on a dog, it'd be a dog. It'd be a dog with a wig. It's self-explanatory. This isn't hard to understand, and unfortunately, it's we've allowed ludicrous wars of words to be played. And the thing about words is you can say anything you want, and it doesn't have to be real. And we've allowed fantasies and feelings to take precedent over reality, and that's the problem with the fact that we have an over feminized society now. It's based on emotions, whereas a masculine society is more based on facts. And I don't mean that as in like male and female. I'm more on about as a way of thinking. So men can be feminine and women can be masculine. For anybody who wants to get their panties in a knot over that. Melissa is now the Green Party parliamentary candidate for Bromsgrove and has accused Redditch MP Rachel McLean of being transphobic after she shared a tweet that described the former Tory as a man who wears a wig and calls himself a proud lesbian. Now, call me a conspiracy theorist if you want over this, but I've got a feeling that this man in a wig has joined an alternative party and dressed himself in a wig and calls himself a proud lesbian simply because he wants to get into Parliament. And he's willing to do anything he can to get into Parliament. Now, I could be wrong there. I could be wrong. But I do think that is it. I think I've just figured it out. Tory party deputy chair for women, Miss McLean, shared the post with the comment, "While the Greens don't know what a woman is, my Worcestershire neighbours, the people of Bromsgrove, certainly do." She's now deleted it and apologised. No, she shouldn't have done that. She should have doubled down on it. You absolutely do not apologise to these people, because if you apologise to them, it shows weakness and they will double down on you. At the end of the day, they will find any excuse under the sun to call you a racist, a transphobe, a homophobe, any sort of bigot, anything they can, and they will use that to try and destroy you. So all you do is you speak the truth and you double down on it. Always double down and never apologise. Never. Human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell has sprung to Melissa's defence today and said the Green candidate, a member of the party since around 2020, is trying to support women's rights and get more women MPs. Well, he's not a woman, so as he's trying to get more women MPs, he's taking the place off a woman. If that's his point of view, it's it's double. It's George Orwell's 1984 double think. You know this. This isn't a brush. This is a fork. This is a fork, everybody. And if you say it's a brush, you're a bigot. That's not pink. That's blue. That colour there is blue. And if you say it differently, you're a bigot. Others have taken to Twitter to support Rachel McLean, despite her apology. She never should have apologised. Comedian Henning Wayne tweeted Melissa speaking on the BBC and said, "I don't want to be called transphobic, and I also don't want to be accused of targeting minorities, but, I mean, come on, please." I mean, again, she shouldn't have said all that. I don't mean to be transphobic. I don't mean to be targeting minorities. You don't say any of that. You just go, no, it's a man in a wig. That's the end of it. In fact, I've got a picture here. Make your own mind up. I say that is a man in a wig. You can disagree with me if you like, but I will never not see a man in a wig there, and I will never change my view on that, and I'm not willing to say differently. But Mr. Tatchell told GB News Melissa was actually trying to support women's rights and get more women MPs, which is a very honourable thing to do. Well, it isn't. It isn't. I mean, yeah, it's honourable if you're trying to get the best people for the job in, absolutely. But if you're just trying to get, say, women into being MPs so that you have more women as MPs, simply as the goal of more women MPs, well, that's dangerous because you could end up with incompetent people, as I believe we have a lot of already in Parliament, and it's only going to make that worse. So, and that's not to say that I don't think there shouldn't be more women MPs, but there should only be more of the right women as MPs, competent women. I don't think I'm competent enough, which is why I'm not doing it, right? I don't think there should be more autistic people, which I am one, by the way, as MPs, simply for the sake of having more autistic people. There should be more competent people, and that is it. Competency should be the key to getting into Parliament, which is a very honourable thing to do. I'm really disappointed that Rachel McLean sought out to attack. She didn't attack Melissa. She stated the obvious truth, which is he is a man in a wig. That's not a good thing at all. It's misgendering. No, it's not misgendering. He's a man. He has a penis. It's not fair and it's not right. No, what's not fair and not right is people taking words and wielding them like weapons to cudgel, proverbially, their political opponents with shame tactics, because that's what this is. It's all about using shame, which is a feminine thing, by the way, shaming people. Very feminine thing to do, and that's what they're doing. I mean, look at this guy here, right? He's not even making an effort there. You want me to call you a woman and you've literally, all you've done is put a wig on your head. Why should I even entertain the idea, and even have the decency to call you by your chosen woman's name? You don't look like a woman. There, another one. Look. Man in a wig. Man in a wig. Man in a wig. Oh, and there we actually have a woman. But anyway, it's just maddening. In fact, no, I'll show you, Rachel. No, I won't. I won't actually. I don't want to show the actual real biological woman because I don't want to drag her into this more than she already has been. You can find it yourself if you want. I'm not dragging her into it. Because I actually support women. Bromsgrove's Green parliamentary candidate, Miss Poulton, also a member of the party's Equality and Diversity Committee and former co-secretary of the Alphabet Greens. There is actually a bunch of letters there, and I just can't be bothered reading it because it's a joke. Has called Miss McLean's comments gaslighting. No, it's not gaslighting. It's factually correct. It is a man in a wig. Melissa, gaslighting, for those who don't know, by the way, comes from an old play. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's from like the 1920s. Long story short, it was when they had gas lighting in houses, not electric lighting, from gas mains outside, and the husband was gradually turning the gas down incrementally every day. And his wife he was doing it as a form of psychological torture, and the wife was saying through the story, it's getting darker in here. It's getting darker, and he's sat there like reading his newspaper, reading books, or doing whatever, just lying to us, saying, "No, it's not getting. It's you. You're thinking it's darker, and it's not." And that's what gaslighting is. You get people in relationships doing it, like you'll, I don't know, start moving things around the house, or hiding things, or throwing things away without telling the other person, and the other person asks where it is, and like, no, that's not true. So that's gaslighting. They'll be verbally abusive to the other person in public and then deny it to the face. Like they'll undermine the confidence in front of like people, like friends and family and that. But then when the partner asks them, they'll go, no, I don't do that at all. I don't know what you're on about. I've never done that. That's gaslighting. So when you have a man in a wig and you're saying it's a man in a wig, that's not gaslighting. That is speaking the truth. Like if somebody's letting the dog take a dump in the street, you go, your dog's just taking a dump in the street. If they say no, it hasn't, you go, well, it has, because there's the steaming pile of crap on the floor, and there's your dog, and I've just watched it happen. That's speaking the truth. For those who don't understand basic concepts like truth and lies, or what a man and a woman is. Melissa was born a biological man before beginning to transition last year. It's not clear. You can't transition. You cannot transition. It's unfortunately, just like I said the other day, you can't paint a banana orange and then call it an orange. It's still a banana. You can't, even if you take all the hormones in the world and you wear all the dresses in the world and put on all the wig or even grow your hair out, you can't change your bone density. You can't change your fast twitch muscle in your body. You can't change your receding hairline. You can't change the fact that you're going to grow facial hair. You can pluck them out, I suppose. Your hip, the shape of your actual hips, which any archaeologist would look at in 1,000 years and go, oh, that's a man's hips, that. Like, we've got a man here, this body's a man. Your bone density, your chromosome makeup, your saliva, enzymes in your salivas, your things like your pheromones that you give off in your sweat, where you carry, when you put fat on. I mean, you saw the pictures of that bloke. The way he carries fat, that's how a man stores fat. Women don't store fat in the same way. They carry it more around the hips than men do. Men carry it more on the bellies and the chest and on the back. Jawline, teeth, everything is different. Everything's, brow, furrowed brow that men have that women don't. It's just, there are countless ways that you can tell. And ways that we probably don't even know. I mean, I saw recently, going off topic a little bit, it's more to do with race, that they were a new AI has been created that was looking at X-rays, and it can tell just by looking. I think it's the sternum of the chest. I know it's somewhere around the chest, but I think it's specifically the sternum and the solar plexus. I think it's called the sternum around here. And this AI was predicting it was like 97 and 98% accuracy, what race people were, just by looking at the bones. And the actual surgeons and the I can't remember what they're called, the people who do the X-rays themselves, these specialists who look at them, like up to and including consultant level, so very, very experienced people. They had no idea how this AI was doing it. They literally, but this machine was able to just bang, 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 pattern recognition, able to tell the difference between these people, like to like a 98% accuracy. It's crazy, wonderful, absolutely fantastic. Technology is unbelievable to me. I love technology. Fascinated by it, but it's the same with this. Like humans are pattern recognizing machines. It's how we survive in the wild. By how we spotted predators and prey and things to eat. And I'm a veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan. I'll tell you, I can speak to you all day about the importance of being able to recognize patterns for finding things like IEDs and booby traps and stuff. It's just what we do naturally. So to try and tell people that that's not a man in a wig, it's a form of psychological torture to people, because people, their own eyes aren't lying to them. They can see, even the way you stand. Women, naturally, if you see a man and a woman stood, women's feet will point naturally forward. Men's feet will taper out a bit. Just if you see people stood around chatting, just look. And the way women face each other as well, they'll actually be facing each other, whereas men will be stood slightly ajar to each other, because for men to be facing each other, it's very confrontational. Or shoulders, that's another one for men, that's different to women as well. It's very confrontational and staring at each other. That's like, come on then. You're getting ready to fight, so men will stand off and they'll look at each other sideways. It's less confrontational for men to do that. That's a natural thing. So even body language and everything about it, Men and women are just so naturally different. Like we don't even things we take for granted in what we do and how we behave. You know, it's so to try and say that you can just put a dress and a wig on and then call yourself a woman. It's for the. I'm sorry, but it's for the fairies. That you know, it's like chase. It's like going hunting for a unicorn. It's you can't do it. It's not real. And even if you chop up all your bits, you've still got your bits. They're just not in the arrangement that they're supposed to be in anymore. It's just a mutilated sausage now, I'm afraid. So, and yeah, you've got to live with that. It's going to become a festering open wound because it's not supposed to be like that. You know, and you're going to end up with discharge coming out of it, and it's going to stink like a corpse. Unfortunately, that's the sad reality of it. I'm afraid, and I'm not going to be gaslit over that. By the way, I'm not going to be gaslit by people telling me what I have to see with my own eyes and how I have to interpret that information. You're not going to tell me to disbelieve my own eyes. It's not happening. I am not going to compromise on that. If you're a decent person and you're nice and you're not confrontational about it and you want me to call you Mandy or something, that's fine. I'll call you Mandy. But I'm not playing these mental gymnastics of saying you really are a woman. I won't bring it up out of politeness. I'm not an a-hole. I'm not rude. But you're not going to gaslight me and make me disbelieve my own eyes, what I can see. It ain't happening. And I encourage other people to take a stand against it too. She described Miss McLean's comments as childish games from a government party who's going to be out of office. Well, it's not. I think the Greens are engaged in psychological warfare, manipulating people's emotions to try and get political advantage and gaining capital off this transgenderism. I think that's what it is personally. Adding, I'm here for representation as a queer woman, as a woman with transgender experience. There's no such thing as a transgender woman. There's only men and women, and then mentally ill people. I'm sure the people of Redditch will see that they're attacking someone for whom they are. We'll see what happens at the ballot box. Well, the Tories going to get wiped out. We know that for a fact. Miss McLean has since deleted the original comment on X, never should have done that, and said, I'm sorry for any offence caused and I could have deleted the tweet. Don't apologise. She's done nothing wrong. She's done absolutely nothing wrong. I believe everyone should be free to live their lives and fulfil their potential regardless of their sex, sexual orientation or gender identity, and to have the confidence and the freedom to be themselves. I don't agree with that. I agree to it to a certain point. But if you've got somebody who wants to do the no pants dance with children or dogs, absolutely not. So I know I'm being a little bit intentionally hyperbolic there, and sorry, I've got an eyelash. Hyperbolic there, but I don't agree with that kind of statement because this is there has again. I'm going a bit off piste here a bit, but there has been examples of nonces trying to use the arguments that homosexuals used in sort of the 70s and the 80s to normalise homosexuality, which I'm not against, by the way. If people want to be homosexual, as long as you're doing it in the privacy of your own bedroom, that's fine. What I don't agree with is all this gay pride stuff. That's just that rampant degeneracy designed to rub people's noses in it. It's like doing a victory lap. I think it's comparable to like the Nuremberg rallies. You don't all these gay pride flags everywhere. Why do you need to fly all that? I've mentioned this in another video, and I'm going off a bit here on a bit of a ramble, but I think there's two different types of homosexual people. You have people who are homosexual, and you have homosexual people. Now, people who are homosexual, you don't know they are unless they tell you generally. They just go to work, get on with their lives, and if you happen to see them with a partner, or you ask them what the partner's called, so that's how you find out, just through general chit-chat, and you're like, oh, wow, that's cool, oh, well, whatever. Whereas homosexual people, it is the core part of their identity, and they need everybody to know, and they bring it up at every opportunity they can. Probably because they're boring people and very untalented people, and it's the only thing that they can do really to make themselves stand out from a crowd. It's probably for a lot of them based around narcissism more than anything. Can't stand them sorts of people. Absolutely can't. They've got no personality. They've got nothing interesting to say, and everything's victimhood based around them. I haven't got time for them. And that's what you tend to get at the Pride events. However, responding to GB clip online, she later clarified, in fact, I did not apologise for my comments regarding to the Green Party's extreme policies on gender and self-ID ideology, and I'm happy to come on your programme to explain my position in more detail. I would like to hear what she's got to say on that. As Deputy Chair for Women, I am clear that the law allows me to say what a woman is and the difference between a woman and a trans woman. Well, a trans woman is a man, is a psychologically disturbed man. In my opinion, and it's that simple. And I think giving it this title, trans woman, is giving verbal ground, so to speak, to allow them to try and then encroach upon women's spaces because they have the word woman in the phrase trans woman. It's like, well, why can't trans women use women's bathrooms then? Why can't trans women access women's safe spaces, etc., etc.? It becomes that fulcrum of the lever for them to then start wheedling in, and this is what leftists do. Is everything's all about gaining ground on everything, because it's all about trying to bring in the revolution for them, and they will use anything they can, including Trump. Women's rights is now become a non-issue for them. It's now trans women's rights. So women are surplus to requirement now, and they're willing to take a big massive dump all over women's rights in order to push the new minority, trans women. Both deserve respect and freedom to live their lives, but it is not transphobic to say they are not the same thing. No, they're not the same thing. Trans women are men. Nor does it assist policymakers across healthcare, education, the CGS to pretend they are. Miss Poulton has been involved in politics for 10 years and has been in the Green Party since 2020. Melissa previously stood as a candidate in the Worcestershire County and Wyre Forest District Council elections. For Americans who say Worcestershire, it's Worcestershire. I know the people who have hate won't vote for me, but I don't want their votes anyway. The Green candidate said, why not? I don't care. If I was running for politics, I won't care who voted for me. As long as you get the majority votes, then you get into Parliament and then you can do your job. That's like saying, I'm going to run in a 100-metre race, but I don't care how many metres I've got to run because I'm, for whatever obscure reason, I'll run 500 metres. I don't care. It's madness. This is the idiocy of these people. A lot of people have said they will be voting for me. Well, good for you. I'm sure there are a lot of stupid people who will vote for you. Leader of the Redditch Labour group, Joe Baker, and Miss McLean's comments were absolutely vile and hateful. Well, Labour, tell us what a woman is, please. Come on, Labour Party. I want full clarification on what a woman is, especially from your leader, Keir Starmer. Can a woman have a penis? I'm saying no, they can't. She added, the original author of the post's intentions of promoting a hate crime and should be reported, not liked, and reported it's not a hate crime to state the truth. The truth is never hateful. Police who hold positions of authority should be looking after those they are in a position to serve. Yeah, well, protect women from psychologically disturbed men. How about you try dealing with the victims of the grooming gangs? Where was their support and help? I understand that the situation is sensitive and I believe everyone has a right to their opinions, but when that opinion promotes hate and harm, then it needs to be challenged. Rachel now needs to question her position. Well, there's no hate, it's speaking the absolute truth. It's like pointing at a silver car and saying, I see a silver car. It's just, that is factually true. That's the end of it. It's like saying today's date, I'm recording this during the day. You can see the daylight around me. Rachel, right. Green Party co-leader Carla Denyer said, this is a deeply offensive intervention from an elected MP who should be representing everybody in the community, not making these nasty, snide and divisive comments. No, you're not. The MP is not there to represent everybody. I absolutely don't agree with that. If I was an MP, I would not be there to represent paedophiles or rapists or illegal immigrants or murderers or any undesirable people in society. That is just stupid thinking. This is the problem with collectivists. They aren't able to differentiate because for them it's not useful, because those degenerate and useless people to them are useful tools. So that's why they are incapable of saying no. Those people, get away. Miss McLean was elected as MP for Redditch in 2017 and served as Minister for Safeguarding in the Home Office between 2021 and 2022. Well, she's done a rubbish job, hasn't she? Because this madness with all this transgenderism has been going on for years now, and she's been in power to deal with that during the peak of it, really. And what's she done? Oh, well, I can't see anything, really. She became a deputy chair of the Conservative Party in November with responsibility for safeguarding and women. West Mercia Police said the original post on X had been reported, but it was not being treated as a crime. Right. I'm not going to really do any outing comments there because we're coming up 25 minutes now, so it's been quite a long one, this one. But thanks for viewing. Once again, please visit the site. I'll put the link below in the description. Just give them for their advertisement revenue, just as a bit of a thank you to them. If you've enjoyed this or you found it informative, please like, subscribe, and give us a comment below. And take care. Bye-bye.